I like to feel that what I'm doing is a podcast rather than a musical composition. And I want to thank so many of my fans who have been with me while I've been watching the royal family, as I'm sure you have, and wondering what's wrong with this world. And I think what's wrong with this world can be stated in many ways, but the best way to think about it is in terms of scarcity. Scarcity of cool temperatures, scarcity of food, scarcity of schooling, scarcity of peace, scarcity of a good night's sleep, scarcity of medical care, scarcity of institutions for increasing populations. I was quiet for a moment because of the sirens that are going on in the background. But the truth of the matter is, as one keeps pointing out on a historical basis, is that we've known all along this day, these days, these years, these centuries would come. The charts for population increase were already in place, 50s and 60s. Scarcity was already an issue. Proliferation of weaponry was already an issue. Local wars seem to have remained constant throughout the 20th and into the 21st century. The difference is now that there are increasing numbers of gangs involved in them, that there's increased chaos, that the wealthy can escape on their yachts, that the powers that be are more or less protected, that the world is existing in enclaves, which Mike Davis predicted decades and decades and decades ago when he was speaking of homeowners associations, and they're drawing the lines that they drew in the cities that they existed in, that they included dead-end streets, that many of them were and still are gated communities, that we often have no access to the people we need to have access to. I don't know why I'm holding this instrument. I'd go on to say that the big changes that occur in humanity after we're done talking about power and the wheel and conglomeration of humans into cities and the medical revolutions, we must speak fundamentally of electricity and a communication structure that beginning all the way back in the Middle East with messengers on foot and going up through the telegraph, the present day, that immanence and immanent are becoming one and the same. But more than that, it was clear right from the start, when those 5 machines were connected, that the internet eventually would be not only a game changer, but a totalization in the world. We all know this, and we're tired of hearing it. But the truth is that the wires are alive, not us. That the wires are carrying our destiny as an afterthought, our doom as an afterthought, our lives and livelihoods as afterthoughts. Too many wires, too many nodes. The internet works perfect in a perfect society. It's not changed when things move to the electromagnetic spectrum, communications through infrared or ultraviolet, radio, microwave, and so forth. None of this has changed anything. It's true that the medium is a message, as McLuhan talked about almost a century or two ago. But the message is increasingly a formula of threat. It's a threat because anyone can be a bad actor to anyone, any country to any country, any organization to any organization. And it's a tremendous danger because it allows bad actors to organize in untoward ways that used to be called the dark web, but that no longer exists as such, because everything is now the dark web in a sense, and everything is now over the top in a sense, and there are leaks in both directions, and it's increasingly becoming not striations or linear, but a communication or a communicative mass that allows not the weakest link to do what it wants, but the most hidden link, the link which carries the most power of totalization. On the surface, QAnon was an example of that. The secret police in so many countries are another example. But that's foot traffic. Not talking about foot traffic. Talking about the communications that are existing. That means, for example, not only are we being watched when we're online, we all know that, but there are increasingly blips where we're temporarily offline, or even permanently offline, for anything from a microsecond to a day or two. And these just seem normative as part of what's called, some circles, the internet weather. The internet weather is no such thing. It's communicative enclaves. It's distributions. It's codifications and recodifications. Everyone can hack now. Everyone can hack. What is the answer to all of this? Well, security measures are constantly being taken and constantly being broken. You just have to read 2600 magazine or other sources that keep track of these things. The dark web's another example of this. Look, I just woke up. Don't expect me to be coherent. The dark web. I'd make an argument that the entire web is the dark web at this point. Because within every surface there are surfaces. And what's going on within those surfaces, just as steganography can carry all sorts of messages and all sorts of media that weren't designed to carry those particular messages. So the web itself is becoming not something that spies on us, but something that might be considered a pure state of espionage. That every one of our nodes, that ourselves looking in on others, listening to bad actors, to nations, to who knows what, where, why, or when. It's porous. I wouldn't think for a second it's not porous. Look, people have broken in to enclaves for decades now. People who are good at it are secret about it. They don't say they're doing it. You don't know they're doing it, but they're doing it. If they're teenage hackers, they might be boasting and posting. Social media. If they're more serious about this, you don't know that this is occurring. But occasionally an anomaly will show up. What is the answer to this? I'd say, walk in the woods, Jack, don't look back, don't look back. But the woods themselves are wired. Not only is it communicative, what you could consider the communicative sphere around the world, everywhere. Just look at the ability to go online from everywhere and everything and everywhere and every why. Like data collecting is occurring in those same totalizations, within those same totalizations. Satellites can bring it down to the level of nature itself. So here we are, within a fractured communicative sphere that was predicted long ago and that everybody knows exists now and will exist into the future. It's a fractured sphere because truth values and the ascendancy of truth or the ascendancy of knowledge has completely disappeared at this point. Bad actors are better than good actors at getting their message across, because when you have a message that is simplified but indicates insecurity and security within a limited number of protocols and statements, then you have something which can grab large masses of any population. I think of this as a musical piece, pretty much without music. But all music can be considered the language. All language can be considered music. Only language carries disturbing external content in a sense of protocol sentences, in a sense of commands, in a sense of walk this way, think this way. Everything I'm saying we all know, but I just woke up in the morning and I'm still dealing with long COVID. And I thought, this is a chance to do a solo. Good day, and I hope you have a very one. See you next time.